Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody is doing fantastic. Dean Kulaweera here. Thanks so much for tuning into today's special segment. I have a special guest joining me today. And hey, don't be shy. Feel free to introduce yourself in the comments. Let me know if my audio and video is clear. I think the notification did go out, so I think we should be fine. But hey, shout out to everyone tuning in on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter as well. It's going to be a fantastic session. And again, feel free to introduce yourself in the comments. And hey, don't forget to hit me up with a like and a share, folks. So, I always appreciate that and always appreciate those. And, let your network know, because today is going to be a fantastic segment with my special guest, Jaspreet Dol, who I'm going to be bringing out shortly in a couple of minutes. So in the meantime, let me know in the comments, are you someone interested in project management? Are you considering taking your PMP? Let me know. Let everyone know. Let us know who you are, what you do, and what your plans are. Are you looking to get your PMP? Do you have any questions about it? I'm definitely going to be getting Jaspreet to respond to any questions you folks might have. All right. So don't be shy. Feel free to introduce yourself in the comments. So again, today's topic, what are we going to talk about? Right. So it's not actually me. I shouldn't say we, but my guest Jaspreet is going to talk about how she recently got her PMP certification, and she did it in less than 20 days. So I'm bringing her on as a guest shortly, and she's going to be sharing how she did that, right? And is she just exaggerating? Did she really get it in less than 20 days? Well, we're going to find out, right? And she's going to share some of her tips, tactics, strategies, best practices for how she did her thing while, by the way, while having a full-time job, right? She has a full-time job. So I'm definitely going to be bringing her on shortly. Now, just to give you a quick introduction regarding Jaspreet. By the way, this is Jaspreet's second time being a guest on my show. And last time, got some great feedback from everyone who tuned in. But for those of you who are not aware of who Jaspreet is, so Jaspreet has been awarded the Future 50 from PMI and has run IT projects from web and mobile to interactive solutions to e-commerce to enterprise application integration to AI, ML to infrastructure, and is currently working with CIBC via DXC technology. She has been featured multiple times on PM Network, which is the Project Management Institute magazine, featured on a book, podcast, transform organizations through agile adaptation and implementation. In the past, she also co-founded a startup for on-demand mechanical services that graduated from Founders Institute. Folks, she's a very busy person, and just make sure you thank her in the comments for her time. And she's going to be speaking to us about how she did it, how she got her PMP, and she's going to be sharing some tips with all of you good folks tuning in today. All right. So, hey, Jaspreet, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for your time. I know you're a very busy person, and really appreciate and really great to have you again on the show.
Thank you for inviting, Dean. I'm really happy to be here and happy to answer anybody's question regarding PMP.
Awesome, fantastic. So we got someone says the audio and video is fine. Awesome, whoever that is. Thanks for confirming that. So Jaspreet, firstly, congratulations. Congratulations are due, for getting your PMP. Now, before we get into the actual PMP, like who should get it and all that stuff, just in case for those of the people who might be tuning in who might not be aware of what the PMP is, can you just briefly explain what is PMP?
In simple words, it's a project management certification that a lot of jobs require. And it has kind of become like a standard in this industry where people expect if you have certain years of experience, you should have PMP. Otherwise, other candidates get, prioritized. It also increases your worth. I mean, to say like salary negotiations, and you don't really have to keep on proving that you do have the knowledge, because the certification itself, it is for the experienced people. So it certifies that you have the knowledge and you have the experience to run the projects.
Okay, fantastic. And by the way, folks, if anyone has any questions for Jaspreet as we go along, feel free to put it in the comments. Closer to the end of the segment, I'm definitely going to have Jaspreet respond to your comments as well. So we'll go for that. So feel free to put anything you have in the comments. Now, Jaspreet, getting right into it. So why did you personally decide to get the PMP? Like, what made you decide, okay, because obviously you're clearly very accomplished. Like you got the Future 50, PMI award. You're featured in the magazine. You got so much other things going on. What made you decide, okay, I want to go for my PMP?
It was actually decided back in 2017 already.
Oh,
I
okay.
just didn't never get the chance to actually study or push through for my application and stuff. And also that time I did not have the experience, enough experience to even qualify to get it. Uh,
Right.
I knew that this is the standard set. It's like having a, when you're fresh out of college, a lot of, entry level jobs ask for a bachelor's degree, for example.
Yeah.
It has like a similar reputation in the industry. So even if I do have a job already, it's not that I need to look for a job. That's why I need to get PMP. I think it's also like it also helps you become a better project manager. For example, you will be, because throughout the study program you're going to be reading a number of books, a number of frameworks, and the scenarios and stuff like that. So it also helps you become a better project management manager, and it helps
Right.
you upskill. So there are various levels, right? I mean, there are various factors. One, it is the industry standard. You should have it. It is like basement requirement, so basement
Right.
level. It's not super. It has that reputation. If ever you do have to go to the market, of course, it will be very useful. But the other thing is like you can update your knowledge, because, for example, every few years they do update their books and stuff. So I think that is another way to get on the board where the industry is going.
Okay, fantastic. So now also, Jaspreet, what's your take on like who should be getting their PMP and who should not? Like, is there any scenario where you feel, maybe some people at some point in their career they should get the PMP? Are there other people who maybe they should not get it right now? Like, is there a best time or something like that?
Well, I believe that there is an ideal time, because I know that a lot of people want to transition their career from, like, I don't know what field into project management, and that's the reason they get it. And then there are other who are already in project management, they get it. So in my opinion, people, if you already have the project management experience, or anything along with these lines, you should get your PMP, because that is like, as I mentioned, it's a basic requirement for any job or any, even within your company. It can help you grow your own portfolio, even if you are just within the company. Because I
Right.
know if you work for one big company, there might be like a PMO. You might want to get into that sort of governance or anything such. And then I think ideal time would be maybe if you have 3 4 years of experience. I think that is kind of the ideal. The reason that I say it is the ideal time, because it will be like you already have the holistic idea of the world, like how the projects are run from start to end, and you would have enough knowledge already hands on, where when you study for the exam, it might be much easier for you, because it is not something new or something that you're reading for the first time, or it will be much easier for you to get it, as compared to somebody who doesn't have a PM background and is, let's say, transitioning from a developer into a PM role. Of course, it's I'm not a fan that, let's say, a technical person is going to get the PMP, and then
Mhm.
I mean, you could rather focus on, let's say, you're a Linux person, you should focus on the Red Hat certifications, for example. Of course, that is your line, and that is in line with your previous experience. Uh, I think that if you don't intend to be going into this project management world, I think it's kind of useless,
Okay.
because it's not really meant for it. Because there are other certifications in the industry that exist. You don't really have to follow the hype for this line, because there are enough other people. So I think it's 3 4 years of experience in project management side of things, you're good to go, or in product management. So maybe it can complement, because the PMP now, it is not just about the project management. It is because it changed right last year. So the focus is now the business environment, people management, and the process and the stuff. So it's like three areas combined. If you work in any of these sectors, I think it makes sense for you to get it.
Okay, got it. Got it. Makes sense. Now, getting right into it, you got your PMP within 20 days. Like, did you seriously get it within 20 days, or is it are you just is that like did that really happen?
I think it's if you ask me, it's about maybe 17 days or 18
Oh
days.
wow, that's amazing.
So the thing is, I The reason that I get it quickly because for me, it doesn't work that I study over extended period of time because I can forget things and I can lose touch of the material.
Mhm.
The shorter I can compress the time, the more I am to retain that information in my brain without having to read it again and again. So, for example, if I read something this week, I'm more likely to remember it rather than if I read something a month ago. Right.
Okay,
So
okay.
that was my compelling one of the biggest reasons because I do understand that I will. I mean, it is not easy because you have a lot of material to cover,
Yeah.
and you really should have a hold of because I also have a competitive advantage. One, I had my CAPM, which means that I had already read PIM book in 2017, right? But of course, it is different now, but it's not 100% different. Maybe there are like 60-70% stuff still coming from the I think about 50% stuff was something that I had read before, and then 50% is something new. And then other advantage that I had was that I have years of experience doing this YouTube videos at the speed of two. So even if the course was like 35-hour content, I was able to finish it in like 15-16 hours. And I skipped
Oh,
some of
wow.
the parts and then some of the exercises, and you know I got my time saving tricks. And then the best way is also that my job's very demanding. I did not really plan for, the 2 weeks off or something.
Yeah.
So I really had to squeeze in. Like I use calendar to run my daily duties, even like everything like the smallest time. So I think that's the best utilization of your calendar. So you can see where you're wasting your 15, 30, 1 minute, 1 hour. So how much can I get done in that 1 hour if I have that available? And if I mean, small things matter, like your time management really. If you can, do your, I don't know, eating in 15 minutes, why would you
Mhm.
spend 1 hour eating? you know
Right.
really optimize and put everything in the calendar, plan your stuff and get going that way because yeah, that is the way. I mean, it works for me. I do understand there are people who spend 3, 4, 5 months, whatever, but I think it's very lousy way to go about it. Yeah, that's my personal opinion.
Right, right. Okay, gotcha. And you did this like while balancing obviously your full-time job, right? Like you didn't take time off.
It is crazy. I mean, working for a bank is not easy because you don't really have weekends. Because
Yeah.
like during the weekday, it is like you're talking to the clients, and off business hours there is this deployments happening, and something can blow up, and then your study plan ruins, and then you have the weekend. All those deployments also happening on the weekend. So PMs are, they're not technically coding or technically deploying stuff, but they are still in the background for anything that goes wrong or have to check in once in a while. So things like that. So I think that's another. It is a demanding job. Yes, I got it within that time, but I think it's all about time management still.
Okay.
Uh, I also planned my work accordingly. That if ever I'm spending, let's say, 10 to 12 hours a day, I would maybe want to finish my work in lesser, like maybe 6, 7
Okay.
hours. So I try to manage my work accordingly with my PMP as well, because I
Okay.
think it allows you to, if you're really a full-fledged PM, you will have a lot of opportunity to really plan ahead. So I think you should use that time very strategically.
Okay, got it. So what I'm getting so far is what you're saying is you think that it's more beneficial to anyone who's looking to get the PMP to get it done as soon as possible versus stretching it out for a couple of months. It
Yeah.
becomes more difficult to remember things and recall things. What you're saying is manage your time, get it done in a shorter time frame when the information's fresh, and you're more likely to be successful and get the certification.
Right. That is exactly the point because I don't think it is easy to remember stuff from a long, and also the motivation and also your productivity, right? It has a certain spike where it's like the highest, and
Yeah.
then slowly it's dropping. So you want to get where you're going high, high, high. You're about the high, take the exam.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. And I think that applies to many things. I think so. I definitely agree with
Even
that.
in life, I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
like basic life skills.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Definitely agree with that. So we got a question here from my friend Fakhruddin. So Fakhruddin, shout out to you, my friend. Always good to have you here. So he says, can you leverage your project coordination and leadership experience back from your home country to get eligible for the exam?
Yes, definitely. You can. I mean, you can put your experience there, and also actually the exam that 2021. I know that new PIMBOK 7 is coming, but it has a lot of people management stuff. So of course, your leadership experience is very critical. You should know how to manage your people, how to get things done in a very complex environment.
Okay, got it. And I guess he had a follow up question as well. He says, how do you prove those experiences? Does experience or reference letter from manager work? Can we also use self testified letter?
So it really depends if your application is getting audited or not, because my application did not get audited. So you should put in, actually the PMI has made it even more simpler to actually put in your experience. Before it used to be, now of course it is still, I think, I can't remember how many hours of project management experience, but something around 3-4 year non-overlapping. And then you do need to put in your experience right there, but it is up to PMI to decide if they're going to audit your application. I'm sure there is procedure on how, if your application is selected for audit, how you are going to verify them. They will send you the procedure via email, that how you are going to audit. But it's no big deal. Basically, if you have worked with somebody, your managers and stuff, you will just put up their contacts, and then the the agency, whatever is in the middle, who is going to testify your experience, they will call up your manager and verify that you really worked there. And it's pretty easy. I think there is a lot of fuss about applications getting audited, people getting anxious around application approval, but I think there is nothing to worry about it. If you have worked as a PM, just put in your work. This is what I was doing, and if you want to audit, okay, this is the person you can talk to, and that's pretty easy.
Okay. Fantastic, Jaspreet. And he says, great. Thank you so much. Good to have you, Fakhruddin. Good to hear that that was helpful. Now, we got another question from Tarshan. So, shout out to Tarshan. Thanks for tuning in, Tarshan. So, Tarshan says, first off, I want to say hats off to you for passing the PMP exam in such a short period. Can you share or explain your study plan leading up to the exam? The exam format changed in January 2021. Would you say the new format is tougher or easier than the old one?
So okay, like we can target his questions. First question is study plan. So I studied for 2 weeks, and then the last week I lost motivation. I just attempted test questions, and that's basically it. I didn't really study after. So first week, three days, because I mentioned earlier that I play videos at the speed of 2. So of course I was able to finish it in like 16-17 hours. So I allocated that 2-3 days or something like that. So I finished the videos first. Then I read the book and cover to cover. And then Rita's book is what I read, because I wasn't thinking I'm going to read the PIM book, because I already read that before. So I was reading the Rita's book because it trains your mindset on how you're going to answer. Because I think that book is so powerful in forming your brain, like how to attempt the exam. And so I read the Rita's book. I think it has something called PMIs or something. So it's like 2-3 page initially before you even start reading the chapter 2. I think the chapter 1 is all about preparing you how you're going to attempt the exam and how your mindset should be. So that is, if I would have more time, I mean, I don't want to spend more time because I've already passed it. But there, I initially had a plan to read the book again and go through those PMIs again and again, but I just did not. I will tell you why later. So basically, book cover to cover about 600 pages. So I target around 100 or something in a day. So that got done in like 5 to 6 days, something like that. So that is also no, that is week 2, right? So the week 1, Joseph Phillips course is what I took, 17 hours. I mean, it's 35, of course. I say 17 for a reason. And then I watched many other YouTube videos, like just randomly, passively watching YouTube videos for fun. I mean to say, because the reason I was doing is because I cannot start studying a book from chapter one to end without having the overall holistic idea of what am I getting into. Because as soon as I have a big picture, then I can relate my details into that big picture thingy. So that's why I started the videos. First week, got the holistic idea. Also in the first week itself, I read the Agile practice guide, pretty small, less than 200 page, got done in 2 days, not very hard to read. And then the second week, read the Rita's book, and then I got to the third week, but actually at the weekend of the second week is where I attempted a practice exam, and I scored like 74% right
Oh,
there.
wow. Okay.
And I was like already lost motivation to study anymore
Oh, wow.
because I was like, I think I'm ready. No. After the first test, I thought I was lucky. I was like, maybe I have tested, but then I said, okay, the practice test is pretty long. So it's like 4-hour test. And then 1 hour you will spend analyzing what answers you got wrong and why you got them wrong. And then you can identify your weak areas and what are the areas you need to focus. You don't need to study the entire stuff, because the thing is, if you, you already have the holistic idea of something. It's
Yeah.
not going to get out of your head. You watched the videos, you read the book. So it's already twice, right? So now the holistic idea is not going anywhere. Now it's time for you to focus on your deficiencies or your weakness or your areas that you're not very strong at. So then I saw that, okay, my definitions are not good. My plan was to read the glossary or something, but I did some of the terms that I got the answers wrong on. Then I attempted. So no, the second test I just attempted without reading anything, because I was thinking after the first attempt that I'm lucky. So second attempt I got like, I think 75, don't remember, something like that. So I was like, oh, I did not get lucky in the first, and then I had no more motivation to study anymore.
Okay.
It like 2-3 days, I think, just laying down, and it's a pretty exhausting process if you think of it, right? The week one, I spent so much time watching videos at the speed of 2, trying to contain all his words into my head, and then the second week is also like reading so much stuff, trying to put that inside my head, and then then I wasted like 2-3 days. Then what I did was I watched the Joseph Phillips videos again, but this time I spent about I skipped the parts where I don't want to read. So, for example, there are some videos about how to file your application, so you can cut 3-4 hours from there. And then, of course, there are no questions from what is the project operations and organization structure, stuff like that. So that thing is not coming in the exam. I cut it out too. So then I spent about 1.5 days something at the speed of 2 again. I finished all the videos, and then on the day of examination, like few hours before, I took the 4-hour exam again because I wasn't able to sleep. Anxiety and stuff. It's not the anxiety; it's just that my clock is amazing. It allows me not to sleep. So I was like, okay, I'll use this time to do an exam. So I scored like 78, and my initial plan was to do the glossary, skim through the book again. I think that will be a very nice idea, to put the stuff back into your head, but then I just wasn't motivated. So that's really the amount of time in my study plan. Okay, exam format has changed. Would you say it's tougher or easier? So I haven't attempted PMP before, so I cannot comment. But I have heard that the previous PMP was a bit more focused on memorization, and this time it is more on practical experience. So in this exam, you are really, since I did like CAPM in 2017, and I do remember that there were no people management questions or no business questions, but this exam had a lot of people management questions. So I think you having leadership experience, you knowing how to lead people, that is going to play a huge part. For example, you need to be aware of different kind of cultures and different kind of companies, and how are you going to manage your people with different kinds of personalities, different kinds of motivation, and where do you have to be fully open with everybody, and where are you going to be discreet with the information, or with coaching, for example, or you don't want to reveal the flaws of your team members even within the team, even if the
Mhm.
agent says that, hey, you are going to share everything in public. But from your personal experience as a leader, if your employee, I mean your team member, whatever, is not performing to the level, are you going to tell the entire team that, hey, this guy is not performing, even if the agile says that, right? That you should be very open. But I think that is where the experience part comes in.
Okay.
So yeah, so I don't think you can blindly follow the books also to pass this exam.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So Tarshan, hope that answers your question. Thanks for tuning in and watching. And also, kind of another question from me would be: I would assume that given that you're currently working in project management, like did that make it much more easier for you to even go through the material as stuff, right? Because it's stuff that you're already doing as well.
Yes, I think that is the key. I don't believe in getting certifications I don't have my hands on.
Mm.
I think that's a very, I mean, of course, some of the certifications have a lot of industry value, like Azure. I mean, if I say that I'm going to get, Azure or the AWS cloud certifications, of course I can get it. Of course I can study and I can pass. But how much of it can I really relate to the real world things that I'm doing in the world, in my work? That is going to affect my performance as well in the exam, because something that is your daily bread and butter, right? So that
Yeah.
you got the idea.
Okay, gotcha. And we got a comment here. I think this is my friend Imal Bariali, I think. But this person says, I always enjoy hearing from project managers. I sometimes think that BA work is difficult until I'm reminded of what project managers have to deal with on big projects. Okay, awesome. I think it's Imal, but thanks for that comment. All right, now, and the other thing that I noticed when you were talking about how you study Jaspreet is I feel like you take a very target-oriented approach. Like you pretty much broke down even like how many pages you're going to read every day. You watch the videos at 2 times the speed. So I think that the lesson I'm seeing here, and I'm not taking my PMP, of course. I'm just summarizing for the people watching, but uh, what I'm seeing is that you have to have targets. Like you have to really plan out your study as well, especially if you have work and maybe if you have family and stuff like that as well. So that's what I'm getting is that you have to take control over how you're going to study as well.
Yes, I don't think anything in life can happen just randomly,
Yeah.
coincidence. Yeah, so if you don't plan for it, it will never, because I know that I have been delaying this exam. I have not been able to prioritize it, but you do have to get to a point where you get pissed off at yourself for not getting it. So you like, okay, this is getting, and also I really booked it at the time where I will not have the capacity to move it anymore, because I was like, okay, I'm going to getting it on the April 21. I have major releases going on April 22, 3, 4, 5. Those days are booked, fully
Yeah.
booked. And the last week of April, I had like family commitment and stuff. So I was like, okay, this cannot move. It means it also meant for me that if I try to reschedule my exam, all the time that I spent in the initial 2 weeks of April might be wasted, because I will also not be able to study for the next 2 weeks that are available in April. So I will lose touch with the material. So I
Right.
really put myself in a situation. I even tried to prepone my exam. I forgot to tell that story.
Oh, okay.
After 2 weeks, I tried to prepone my exam. It was literally 1 week away from my exam, and I was like, "Hey, can I prepone?" And I was like, "You will be charged this, this, this." I was like, "Okay, I can wait. It's few more days. It's not a lot long."
Okay. So technically you could have gotten it before, actually. It could
Yeah,
have been less
technically
than.
like almost 2 weeks. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I was like, because it's the exam stress and the anxiety, because you don't go
Yeah.
anywhere. You keep on having this, like you're going to fail or pass, that stress, that anxiety, and I wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I try to, but yeah, it couldn't work. And
Okay, okay.
personally, I am impressed. I didn't think I was going to even pass. Like throughout my like the exam itself, it was very vague, but I rely a lot on the real world experience rather than thinking about what I study in the PM book. Right?
Okay, okay. So that's pretty interesting. So what you're saying is, I mean, just like any other human being, you experience this stress and this anxiety, but the difference that I think is that you decided to still push forward, right? You didn't shy away from it. You kept moving forward. So that's awesome. That's fantastic. Now we got a follow-up question from Tarshan. So Tarshan says, thanks for the feedback. I just have one more question. You mentioned you scored over 75% on your mock exams. What PMP exam simulators did you use?
Okay, so I was using Prepcast, but I also bought others which I just never used. So in terms of answering your questions, what I used. So initially, I also, when I was reading the Rita's book, I did the chapter and questions. So there is about 400 questions throughout the book. So I was scoring like 80, 85%. And I was thinking I was scoring that because I have just finished reading the chapter and, I'm attempting the questions. So it might be very fresh. And then the Prepcast is what I have used, but I also purchased some questions on Udemy. That cost me about like less than $15. So I purchased like 3-4 courses on Udemy, out of which I only utilized one. And then I will say that the questions that I did in the practice were not close to the real exam that I did, because the real exam was much harder. So the whole idea of this prep exams is to help you identify your knowledge gaps. So I don't think I would take it very, very seriously, but I would attempt whatever the exams I can get and identify what I don't know, restudy those, and get going.
Okay, all right, awesome. So Tarshan, hope that helps. Thanks for your question. So let's move into, I still have some more questions. So hopefully you're okay on time, Jaspreet.
Yeah, go.
Okay, perfect. Now I know that you already kind of discussed, how to manage the time and stuff. But this is something that, and as a recruiter, I speak to people, project managers who talk to me here and there about getting the PMP, how time consuming it is. So any other tips on like how do you manage your time? How do you make that time commitment when you have like other things in your life going on? Like any other additional advice there?
I don't know. I manage my life with a calendar. I literally say this. Like everything. Like I put it like this is the time you eat, this is the time you sleep, this is the time you do what. Like I literally optimize my calendar, and because we have only 24 hours a day, and how you make those 24 hours, and that's how I actually do it, because I do understand there is life things happening, and of course you want to maybe plan ahead. For example, let's say I might not be able to give that time to myself in April. Maybe you will, if you really look foresightedness into your June, July, August, maybe you will be able to already block the time off for PMP, and then you make sure your other commitments or priorities do not conflict with this. I think it requires that planning, because I cannot dictate that to anybody, because it depends on your life. Because of course, if you ask me, hey, Jaspreet, could you do it last year in October, November, December? No way. There was. I mean, sometimes your job can get so demanding, right? You might be working 16, 17 hours. You don't know. Like things, everybody's life is different. So I think it depends on your life. Where are you going to put this in your calendar, and how you're going to stick to it? It's all about sticking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's great. So that's great advice there. So now the other thing is, what are some key mistakes that you've seen people make when studying for PMP? Like, I don't know, maybe you had friends or colleagues, you've seen them maybe crash and burn here and there or stuff like that, or maybe not. But what are some mistakes you've seen people make in pursuing the PMP?
I have seen multiple mistakes. I would say the reason when I started this PMP prep, right? I joined, DXC is a huge company. There are hundreds of project managers. There are communities for project managers who want to get PMP. And I joined this community. And of course, I cannot work with their schedule or whatever they were asking me to, form a study group and then work with them. And they didn't really have any set target date. So one of the things that I'm saying is that having a lousy date, saying that I will take it in this year. Like when? Determine when. Be determining when. And then if your study style does not match with the group that you're studying in, or if you're better off alone studying, or your habits, for example, for me, sometimes I can give 6 hours of study in a day, sometimes I cannot even give 1 hour. So it depends on your personal. I think one is setting a date that I am going to get it done by this time. That is the most critical important part of this journey. And then the second one is just make your study plan, stick to it. It is not about how many different sources of information can you get one source, two source, stick to them, and study them over and over. Repetition is the mother of learning. I don't know, there is something saying like that. It's,
Yeah, repetition is the mother of, yeah, something
so,
like that.
yeah, so you stick to that and you study your material from that. Stop getting distracted, stop wasting your time about talking to people, hey, you got your PMP, because this is the tendency, I tell you. Even if you've got your PMP or you are going to get your PMP, your network's going to grow because you're going to keep talking to people. Hey, what did you do, how did you do, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Talk to 3-4 people, enough, right? It's the same story. So stick to your material. Set a date. I don't think that anybody who's publishing material out there, they are capable enough of producing a good material for you to study. You don't need too many others distracting. And then material, timing, and then your plan. So I understand maybe you're not able to plan how many hours a day, because I wasn't able to, but maybe you're able to plan how many hours a week, right? So you might not be able to control your day, but maybe you're able to control your entire week. Let's say you're not able to give time to it Monday, Tuesday. Okay, make up for that time on Thursday, Friday, Sunday.
Okay, yeah. So great advice there. Now, the other thing is, what are some major challenges people can anticipate as they're attempting their PMP? I know you covered some, but what are some potential bumps on the road that people can expect, and what's your advice on how to overcome those?
The feeling that I'm just going to fail, I might as well just skip it.
Okay.
Or I might just guess it. I will just do it again. That is called exam fatigue. So certain thoughts can cross your mind, but don't be distracted. I think that is one, because I thought I was going to fail. I personally thought I was going to fail, because it's very vague, right? You don't know if you're going to pass, and you're going to run out of time. The time management, it is critical, because the first thing is that the questions are going to be lengthy, situational. The answers are also a bit situational. I didn't think that they were mostly like wrong answers. There is just like one of the best answers that is in that scenario. So I think do not do any negative self-talk. Drink your water. Don't drink too much water in the start, because you will have to sit there for 4 hours. So just other thing is, you might think you're going to fail, but just keep going. Do not let this thought, sit on your mind that you will do it again or something, because you have come so far to not give up now, and give it your full go. Maybe you will just pass. The time management is very important. So I think these are the two things. And just focus on the question. Don't think about what you read, or try to use your own gut feeling where it is going to go, because I think whatever you have studied, you have already studied. Don't try to think that I studied this question in chapter 6. No, that doesn't work, because questions are going to be very mixed from many chapters. It is not going to be a target specific chapter answer question. So it is going to be mixed pieces of different information, different chapters combined together. So it is important that you know how pieces of information fit together and how you're going to utilize that situation to answer the best possible answer.
Okay, great. So I like what you're saying is like mindset is so important, right? That's what you're saying. Like you should not go for the exam with the attitude, like you shouldn't go in already thinking you're going to lose. That's what you're saying. Like, and that, with that defeatist kind of mentality, that's not going to be helpful. So what you're saying is like you have to have the positive mindset when you're going in.
I mean, it's very possible the exam can turn your mindset.
Yeah.
Positive to negative, but just keep going.
Okay, okay.
Have faith in yourself, because people, for like me, right, even if I look very accomplished from the outside, I personally do a lot of, I'm very self-critic, I don't have a lot of confidence, and it is very normal. You might actually realize that you know more than you think you know, so just keep going.
Wow, that's some great inspirational advice there. Hey, folks, make sure you hit like and share.
And make
That
sure
was,
you should quote this line to me. Yeah?
I think, absolutely, yeah. I think maybe we should make a picture, put it on, one of those Instagram, like, with
Oh, yeah, yeah.
like quotes or something, right? Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
and
was
then
a great
people in
advice.
the future, they're gonna search for historical quotes, and then my quote's gonna
Yeah.
come up.
Yeah, exactly. So we got my friend Faiz. Faiz, good to see you here. Faiz says, "Hi, DK. Your live sessions have always been helpful. Good to hear that, Faiz." He says, "In my case, focus is very important to pass the professional certification exams." Fully agreed with Jaspreet. Awesome. Yeah, I definitely. I think this applies not just to PMP, but I think everything in life for that matter. So I think, yeah, what Jaspreet, what you talked about, it's fantastic and very applicable advice. Now, Jaspreet, you created a very detailed video, right, where you talk about how you got your PMP in 20 days. And I'm going to share the link briefly, in the comments right now. But what can people expect from that video? Like, obviously, don't tell us everything that's in the video because people want to go and watch. But like, what's covered in the video? And in
Uh,
the meantime, I'm going to put it in the comments.
I have in the description of that video, I have linked all the resources that I've used. So that is one. So you don't really have to message me asking, "Hey, what did you use?" Because I'm just going to give you the link, because it's like 100 people are going to ask me the same question. So the material is already there. Basically, I shared how my journey started, what were my pitfalls, and what were the, what you call this. I think I shared about my weak areas, and I talked about the tips on how to pass it. So because I focused really on saying that you should be focusing on your trends and stuff. So go watch that video. You will get a lot of other information that I've not shared on this video. Uh, so yeah, you got the link. You can check there. You can put a comment there, and I'll try to answer on the video itself.
That's so. Let me ask you this: what made you want to do that video? Like, why bother? I mean, you could have just passed the PMP, and you
Okay,
can
so
go on Dean's show and say, "Yeah, I did it in 20 days." But you actually, I mean, you created a video to help other people, right? Like, what made you want to do that?
because it's like a standard thing for PMP people to think that this takes more than 3 months or 2 months.
Yeah,
And it might, they also think that it takes like maybe 8 hours a day, or I don't know how many hours a day, but they normally think that 3 to 6 months is the amount of period that you could study. Because I wanted to say that I don't agree with that approach. uh, 6 months to study for that exam. I mean, I understand, but can you compress it? It is possible.
Mhm.
So I don't think anybody can really commit to 6 months or something, or 3 months. It's like getting a diploma, right? It
Yeah,
is just a certification. If you are working already, it is doable. Uh, the reason I actually made that video, that decision came was after I finished my first exam attempt. So that was at the end of week 2. So I was like, oh, I should do a video, because why not? Because I think it's something people would like to look at, and it might be helpful to give them that confidence boost that it is possible. Because, okay, I'll give you this. So when I was preparing for this exam, and I talked to somebody, and I was like, hey, dude, my exam is in less than 1 month. And he was like, I've been studying for 3 months, and that is a very bad decision you have made in your life.
Oh
I
wow.
started questioning my, and this is literally like 3 4 days before my exam, like,
Oh, that's okay.
and my confidence was like, and then actually I wasn't very prepared to do my exam, what you call this, full exam stimulator. Because the thing is, I was like, if I score 40 50% on that test, my confidence will go to basement, like, you
Yeah.
know literally to the ground, because I will have my exam in the following week, and I'm attempting the exam now, and my scores are too bad. But luckily my scores were good. So that is just like a good side of, they're like, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, because like, he forced me to attempt the exam because I wasn't ready.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
never feel ready. You would never feel ready, right? That's the
yeah.
thing. So I wasn't ready, but good thing that I attempted. I kind of relieved the stress already. So I think it is important that people start doing it. And another thing that I have noticed, one of the common mistakes is that people think that you should read once and start attempting questions. I personally disagree with this approach. The reason is that you should know your content.
Mhm.
How can you go ahead and redo your practice questions? I know people do like 1,000 questions or what. Like I think I did like only 400 plus three, so 400 plus 180 plus 180 plus 180. So basically that's it. How much I did? I did not do like 1,000, 2,000 questions because I think it's totally senseless. You should know your content so well that when you are going to attempt your questions, you're not just trying to learn the questions. You shouldn't be trying to learn the content because you have got a wrong answer, and that's a stupid way of learning according to me. Because the thing is, in the exam itself, you do not know what kind of questions are coming from which area, and what if the exam prep that you're, I mean, whatever the test exams you're taking, they never asked question in that particular area, and now you have missed out reading or understanding that content. So
Yeah.
I think you should really have your content. You should have your focus on the content rather than just attempting exam. It's a very stupid strategy. I mean, I personally think it's a very stupid strategy because you should know what your story, your details, your terms, whatever it is, how they function with each other, then attempt the exam. You shouldn't just read once and then keep on doing exam. Like, I just don't understand that.
Yeah. Okay, okay, got it. We got a comment here from someone who says, "I got mine in 2 weeks, completely shut off from the rest of the world." All right, awesome. Whoever that is, hey, all the best. Hope you get it, and maybe I'll have you as a guest next time as well, and talk about getting the PMP as well.
Yeah,
Then someone says, "I purchased Cornelius. I don't know how to pronounce the last name.
yeah. That is the one I also used it. So that is the prepcast.
Okay, got it. How do you pronounce that last name? Fitner? Fitner? Nobody knows.
Last name.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll look him up
I
on
think it's a
LinkedIn and send a
Fitner or
connection.
something. I think it's
Fitner,
Fitner.
yeah, simulated exams, which was hugely beneficial. Awesome. So yeah, thanks for.
The thing is with these exams, so they will give you a explanation on why each answer is correct and why each answer is wrong. So that is the best part of this prepcast. Because for example, others might tell you that this is your wrong answer, and then it just paste some sort of definition or some sort of paragraph from the pen book or from the book directly there. The difference between this exam prep is because it will tell you even for the wrong answers why they're wrong. Because it will, even if for example you chose this A B C D and then the C is the correct and you thought B and nobody told you why the B was wrong, it is
Mhm.
important for you to know why is that wrong as well.
Okay,
That's a,
awesome.
yeah.
Right. And then someone, I don't know if it's the same person, said the Echo exam outline is another great way to understand the weightage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, awesome, awesome. So Jaspreet, as we wrap this up, thank you so much. Like you shared so much great information, and I'm sure you inspired a lot of people in not thinking about getting this done in 6 months, but daring. I would say maybe not daring to think, but seeing that it's realistic for them to do this in a much more compressed time frame. So, in terms of people who want to connect with you and maybe connect with you beyond this point, like what's the best way for people? Like, are you open to connecting with people on LinkedIn, Jaspreet, or what's the best way for people who want to connect with you or follow you on the social media?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is something great platform, and I use it every day. Um, Sometimes the volume of messages is a bit more, but I take time to reply to everybody almost. Yeah.
All right, awesome. And yeah, folks, I shared the link for the video in the comments. So watch the video first, and then after that, if you have any questions, feel free to ask Jaspreet, right? Otherwise, if you're asking questions that are already answered in the video, then Jaspreet gets like hundreds of messages. She's gonna then blame me, or why did you have me on your show and this and that. So first, watch the video, and then I'm sure if you have any additional questions, Jaspreet will be happy to respond. All right. So it's actually Jacob. Oh, okay. It was Jacob who's commenting there. So yeah, good to have you here, Jacob. Thanks for your comment. And finally, Jaspreet, any parting words for taking the PMP certification? You've already shared so much wisdom, but any final advice for people who are considering taking it?
I know a lot of people who actually want to get their PMP, but they're actually not getting it done. So I think if you want to get it, just get it done. I mean, one and done. So you don't have to keep on worrying about it. And it is not rocket science. And you might have all that anxiety, stress, and it's pretty normal. And just get it done, set a date, set your schedule. It's doable. If you don't have too much time, plan your study strategy according to whatever works for you. Maybe for me, compressing the study strategy is the best way for me. But I don't know if you really have that retention of knowledge. Maybe you are a mom and working mom, and you have kids, and you really don't have that kind of time. I don't know, whatever your life situation is. But if you want to get it done, you do need to be very, very serious about getting it done. Only then it's the only way that it will get done. Otherwise, life will keep happening and it will keep getting pushed. So I think don't worry about failing, because PMI still allows you 3 attempts. No, that's not the motivation I want to give. So no, you got the 3 attempts in a year. So I am not saying that you're going to do that. Don't do that. Just you just go with the full confidence. Sometimes you think you know less. You might know more than you think you do. Okay.
All right. Awesome. So you're saying just go in with that belief and confidence that you can do it.
Yes, you can do it, and it is very, very normal to underestimate your capability, underestimate your strategy, underestimate yourself. That is the easiest thing in the world to do. Don't do that. I mean, have the confidence in yourself, and you can do it, because you've done many things in life. PMP is just one small baby you need to cross.
Awesome. Fantastic closing advice there, Jaspreet. Again, thank you so much for your time. And really appreciate having you again on the show. And you shared some great information. I'm sure the viewers got a lot of value out of it. So folks, make sure you thank Jaspreet in the comments. I did drop a link again to Jaspreet's detailed video on how she finished the PMP. So make sure you check it out. And if you want to connect with Jaspreet, you can connect with her on LinkedIn. And hey, thanks so much, Jaspreet, and thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Hope everyone got great value out of this session, and I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of the week. And thanks again, Jaspreet. Hope you have a great day.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.